This is an instructional series brought to you by the People Embracing Change Tribe. Welcome to our site.
The thing about being able to be quiet your mind and having that, you're in a parent mode because your right brain that absorbs all these impressions, thoughts, our emotions, and those emotions interfere with our left brain, with our thoughts, and that just kind of, and a 2-year-old goes like, keeps on bugging you, and you're not going to sleep as a parent until you address that 2-year-old. So this is the whole point of it, because everything you've collected is going to look at this. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through proper meditation, proper posture, proper breathing, and the one thing that I want you to focus on is start having the right questions. Come on in. We're just getting started. And I'm going to have this part is kind of critical, so I'll go over it. To meditate, the first thing to be able to be aware of our own energy is to be able to own our own energy and be able to realize what's not ours. Because the only way you want to accumulate energy is energy that is really comfortable and complementary to us. If you start taking energy from everybody else and everything else, or even nature that it's not compatible, we're going to be agitated. We're going to be affected. We're not going to be thinking, feeling the way that we need or comfortable to deal with. We can evolve. We can evolve our energy. But to get there, we have to transfer how we think, how we feel into the new evolved self. And you can't do that without owning who you are at a quiet moment. The reason why you want it at a quiet moment is so you have a central personality that is unaffected by all the emotions. You're owning your base central emotions, because the moment you have an emotion, you're stirring up thoughts. And if you're anybody who's aware of addictive personality or addictive behaviors, people function on emotions. They need their metabolism a certain way. And if you have energy in here that's affecting your metabolism shifts. It affects how you feel. And it's from these feelings, and the flow of these feelings, how our personality drives our thoughts, our processes, how we do things. But if we want to evolve, we have to change that metabolism, augment our emotional capability, and then we have to take what processes and thoughts we want and move them into a new evolved self. But if you know where you want to go, you got to know where you're coming from. And this is where meditation is important. And you have to get rid of all the old baggage. Your 2-year-old in this right brain has collected everything since you were born. And it's going, every time you try to get quiet, mommy, 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 nonstop. And you have to address it. So the thing you start with is the eternal question. The first question is it mine? Yes or no? Thoughts, feelings. It's just that simple. Because you're giving your brain something to do, and then you're going to be able to adjust and manage it every time you take a single pot-belly breath. Who here's done meditation successfully? You're able to quiet yourself? Okay. Good. And that's more than I expected. But most people complain, I can't get quiet. The thing here I want to be able to share with you is being able to use this methodology to question what's mine and not mine. And also, when it's yours, you store it in a bucket. This is whatever your tradition, whatever emotional methodology you want to use. you take whatever you say, this is mine, store it. And it's basically teaching a 2-year-old how to clean up after itself. And all the stuff that's not you, it's like, get that out of your mouth. I don't know where that came from. I don't want nothing to do with it. I know where that came from. I really want nothing to do with it. So I'm going to demonstrate basically the potbelly breath. And what you need to do is not sit here, but sit here. The reason being is everybody wants to sit and they use their psoas muscles. There's muscles inside your body that help you sit up, okay? And it's affecting how your body functions. The first trick is getting your body quiet. Your body is made up of fascia, and you can look up on my site. Fascia, collagen fibers, move energy. It moves, and actually, anything that you do magically, spiritually, in any tradition, affects your fascia. And it moves a proton from one water molecule to another. In other words, a hydrogen ion. All you have to do is squeeze it, chant it, do anything, move it, use your muscles, because it's attached to your muscles, it's attached to your sheaths around your muscles, around each of your organs, around each of your nerve fibers. Every bit of the connection. The Chinese had this writing that's called the Marrow Washing and Tendon Changing Classic. It's from between 400 and 600 AD. They already knew where acupuncture actually worked. In 2000, they actually discovered that acupuncture sites conform to where all your connective tissue comes together up on the surface. And when you put a needle in it, on the end of the fiber, you twist it, it actually makes it bind up. Because you're pushing water out, changing the chemical structure of it, and moving charges down here, and it actually grasps it. So you get a needle in here, you find the right spot, you can't pull it out easy, okay? So that's a needle grasping thing. The other thing is trying to send energy across it doesn't work, like plastic. But if you put a charge down along the fibers, it'll move. But here we are, we're talking about how we get our body to be quiet. And it's fairly simple. If you're leaning back on a chair, you're actually pressing against all the fascia. So the first part is asana. And it's one reason I'm wearing white. Everybody who knows me, I wear black, so I'm doing this all for your benefit. So the first thing is how you sit. If I just sit like this, most people sit with their buttocks out. You want to roll it in, okay? And these chairs actually make it easy. So you let your buttocks roll underneath. This actually helps straighten your back, actually takes pressure off your back. And sitting up straight. And I can do it because I have scoliosis, I'm twisted, and I have pictures to prove it. So you can still sit up straight. And the thing is, okay, now you're balanced. If you're using your back to balance, that's great. The next part is to have a chest cavity, an air cavity that you're not using all these muscles and fascia. The only reason why the rib cage works is because it's got tons of connective tissue. But we just want to use it as an empty bell. So how we do that is you take our arms out like this, and you want them at the same level as your shoulders. We're going to hug a tree, and you want your elbows up. Now I want you to feel in your back where your shoulder blades are separated. You feel that's opening up your back, your chest, even in your back. You push it out, and you're actually pushing out your chest, okay? Now, we're not trying to hold our chest up like this. We're just kind of, if you do this, and relax it, and you just let your arms lay here, you feel this chest, and you're going to hear me being louder and whatever, because now I have a bigger resonance cavity. The trick is, now you don't need to use your chest to breathe. just breathe with your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is one muscle. That's the only muscle you need, and to tell you the truth, it will massage one bit of fascia. There's a bit of fascia that wraps around your pulmonary artery, vena cava, all the major arteries that go here. It's also your 10th cranial nerve, which is called the vagus nerve. It comes from the center of your brain. It's like a separate spinal cord, but the only thing that wraps around it is flesh. It goes right through it, goes straight down. It connects and goes through every one of your chakras. It connects to every single one of your organs. It goes all the way down to your genitals. It is the nerve that helps you organize, manage all your organs. So if we're just breathing with this one diaphragm, you notice I'm not moving my chest. And anybody that has a problem moving their chest, this is going to be an issue for them. You know, I see everybody's doing that fairly well. But if you're trying to teach somebody this, you have one hand on their chest, they feel their hand moves, okay? So you get it to the point where they're just moving their one hand on their stomach. And you're not using stomach muscles. You're just using diaphragm. And this helps you quiet all that fascia. Because that fascia generates charges, encourages your organs to work differently. It generates emotions, and it generates a metabolistic change, and we're trying to calm that out. This is all about getting to your baseline. So you got your chest right. You just keep your hands comfortably sitting on the edge of the chair, rolling your buttocks under so you're not spending any energy on your muscles or anything like that. And then we use a 4-part breath. We breathe in on a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a count of 4. Out for a count of 4. And hold for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. That's it. Okay? Except that 2-year-old, now it's going to bug you, so we will let you. So let's just take about 4 or 5 breaths and go through that. Count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Out. Hold. Now, if you have emotions, are they yours? If they're thoughts, are they yours? If they're not, you let them go. Okay. Say you've done this for 15, 20 minutes. You consciously deal with thoughts and feelings. You either sorted them for your own particular use, or you said, I'm letting them go. So how do we let them go? What you just did is the first part of centering. It's starting to own your own energy. But I just want to have you all stand up and do this here. And this is a trick I've learned, and people who say, I can't ground. I said, well, this works. You want your foot shoulder width apart. No giant horse things. Just a nice, comfortable thing. And be careful with your knees. You want to point your toes slightly in, just 5 degrees. You did this and you're going to hurt your knees. Don't hurt your knees, because you want them. They're good. I'm getting old. I like my knees. I want to keep them right where they are. So you have them point just 5 degrees in. And the motion is this. You breathe in. I own who I am. And then when you go down, you bend your knees, I want you to feel that, just this little motion, why it's just set up that way. It's taking your muscles and your bones and doing the yang energy work to drive a connection to the earth without you have to consciously, esoterically, magically do it. The whole idea is getting your body to do it for you. Own your own energy. What's not mine, let it go. And the reason you point your palms down and your feet on the floor is you're trying to let it ground it out. And most people just like ground it out. And they're good. I don't have a problem with that. But the reason why I'm teaching this Qigong method of grounding and letting go of stuff that's not you is because I want you to get an idea that your body's a pump. The first part was just learning how to be quiet. This other part is how to be a pump. Make sense, everybody? Okay. So, that's the easy part. The next part is taking that 4-part breath meditation to scan your body. You take a few breaths to quiet yourself out. And I teach people to do a body scan. Who has done any like a path working with like just focusing on 1 cubic inch of your body at a time? Okay. You've done that? No. All right. All of you that done it, mind if I do it for the folks here? Okay. So let us get into that meditative posture and get into that 4 square breath. Okay? As you breathe, let's focus on the little toes. Just the little toes. As we breathe in, we want to feel how it feels. As we breathe in, how does it feel? What does it change does? As we hold our breath, what's the difference now? Is it sitting there, or is it something? How is it connected to the rest of it? As we breathe out, how does it change then? Let's go on to the next toe. Same thing. As you breathe in, how does the energy feel? How does it feel when you stop breathing? How is it connected? As you breathe out, how does that energy move, connect? Let's go to the next toe. If you need to move it, just so that you can figure where it is, that's okay. Focus on how it feels. Now what energy flows into it and out of it, and how is it connected? Next toe is next to the big toe. with the big toe. Breathe in. Feel how the energy feels in it. Hold. What's the energy doing there? As you breathe out, what is it doing? As you hold it, what is it doing? As you breathe in, you're going to breathe into the next part, the ball of your feet. How's it feel? How's it connected to the toes? What the energy does when it stops? How does it feel when you're breathing out? With the ankle, one breath. And then instep. Smile when you're doing it. You want to have a wonderful relationship with each part of your body. See how just smiling, you're changing a little bit of energy just by smiling. Go to the ankles, and you breathe in. And you feel energy moving into your ankles. Where did it come from? How does it feel? Breathing out. I'm going to cheat and go to major parts, but we're going to go to the whole bottom leg here. Breathing into it. How does it feel? As you hold, what's the energy doing? Is it connecting to your ankles, your knees? Is it rising? Is it falling? As you're breathing out, where's the energy going? Is there energy going back into it? As you hold, how does it feel? Let's go to our knees. Let's go to our thighs. Breathing in. It's getting more complex because we're looking at more than just a square inch. Move up onto our pelvis area. It's bound to start getting a little bit more complex. As the energy moves. When you breathe in, hold it. As you breathe out. fill it up into our lower abdomen. Upper abdomen. Let's move up into our chest. How's it connect? Let's get up into our shoulders. Let's bring our arms into it. Let's start out with our fingers. You should be able to feel something move every time you breathe. Palms of your hand. Move up to our arms. Our upper arms. Go back to our shoulders. Up to our neck. Breathe in. How's it connected? And pulse. What's moving if not? As you're breathing out. Hold. As you breathe in, start feeling your head. Smile. Now, take another breath and just be one with your whole body. And breathe out. Now, the whole point of this is to get a sense of how does your body feel at a quiet state. If you've done all this pre-work and be able to quiet your mind, you're also teaching your body and your mind how to sort out your feelings, your emotions, what's mine, what's not mine. Do this for 2 to 6 months. Okay? It becomes riding a bicycle. It becomes second nature. When you're adding your body, those questions are working in your subconscious. So you should be able to feel this in your body too. What's mine, what's not mine. The reason being you get that, what's mine and not mine, and you pay attention to each cubic inch. We rush through this, but I want you to just give it an idea of how to do this. But you take, 30 minutes a day and you do this, and this too will become like riding a bicycle. So all I have to do is, there's a big emotional kerfuffle and whatever, and I get people going, and all I have to do is just and sorting it all out. This isn't mine. Those, this is not my monkeys, not my circus type of thing. You may have to choose how to interact with it, okay? The other aspect of this is that while you're paying attention to your body, you may feel something that catches, something that's dark, something that isn't right. And if you've done all that pre-work, this 2-year-old now turns into a teenager and hears that box rattling and said, "What's this? You said you were going to take care of it." That teenager is going to be like, show me that you're an adult by being the adult. Take that box off the shelf, please. Put it up here and meditate on it. And you'll have to dissect it, but you learn how to you're doing this from a quiet set of self. And it will invoke emotions, but you also know how to have a quiet self. This is a whole thing about starting to learn how to have multiple concepts of your body. You can remember how you feel, you can remember how your body feels, you can remember how you think, but you don't have to live it. Right now I'm in a calm place, so I'm safe. That box may be full of triggers, it may be full of horrendous whatever. Open the box slowly, peek inside, one bit at a time. What part is mine?
Question about breathing. Is this sort of the same idea as breathing into part of your body and breathing out?
Not
through
yet.
part of your body?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Right.
The whole idea is being aware of your body is that you have a natural rhythm, and you will feel how it moves naturally. The thing is it's building up a constant awareness by every conscious breath you take. And if you learn how to just breathe with your diaphragm, you notice most of the time I'm breathing with my diaphragm, unless I'm conditioning my energy, and I will talk about that here shortly. The whole point of it is you're building a practice step by step to own who you are, let go of what's not yours, paying attention to the energy in your body. That energy will evoke emotions. We're back to the whole thing where it's like a 2-year-old, but now it's like the 8-year-old running around. It's like, get out of those drawers, you don't belong there. And okay, mommy has to deal with that. You have to sit and be quiet. I have to focus on these things in my past. I still do it. Every day, I get myself bad jobs. I'm still triggered from relationships decades ago and stuff like that. When I get emotionally tired, I'm overwhelmed, whatever. They're in the boxes. But what I'll have to do is just remember, breathe, get to that center self, I own it, I detach from it. I don't have to live it, I can remember it. I don't have to react to it. And when I'm tired and whatever, yeah, I will react to it. I'm a human being. I have those scars, they're there. I own them. I can't throw them away because they will not go away. But the thing is, these things can also have physical damage, lodging negative energy into your body. You don't have to have some critters coming into it. Sometimes they will feed off of some of that. But start to pay attention to it so that you're able to understand what is going on in your body. Occasionally you're breathing, you're paying attention to some part of your body, and something's not moving. Something's dark, something's just flavor, the feel, the taste. However you describe it, your own internal landscape is your own personal description. You have traditions in China and elsewhere. The languages are all different, how to explain it. So it's up to you to figure out what it is. But when you're focusing on it, sometimes when you're going through this body breathing exercise, you may focus on one part of your body and it may be rattling some part of your cage. Work it out. It's a bit of cognitive therapy because you've spent 6 months teaching yourself, oh, okay, it's getting me upset. I understand how I react to it. I'm going to choose a different reaction. Now you're in a quiet state and you have control of your emotions. You can pick a different emotion. And there's things that I'm a codependent. I was taught to be my mama's little servant, and it carried over to all parts of my life. How did I change it? I used this methodology. And when I worked through one of those scenarios, I learned to change my behavior so someone doesn't use me. I just go, and the quickest thing is focus. And doing this actually generates anger. And I'll give you my 5-point lesson on positive and negative emotions. And you can choose them. Every emotion has a positive and negative side. One part of the emotion, you leak energy. So I try to encourage people, don't do that. For example, anger is about focus. Being mad is when you're... I get that and they go like, Bill, calm down. I'm throwing tools. Or I can't find a tool. And it's like, I just put it there, damn pixies. Move. And I'm sitting on it. Okay, so there's that. Giddiness is negative. You see people giddy, some of the people that try to get you to be giddy, they want you to give off this energy. No, just have joy. I'm happy with who I am. I am me. Happiness, joy. I do, and you're filling up your skin, but you don't let it go. You can feel the tingles, and it's, I am me. You can just do like this, and it's like, but you don't have to be, I'm giddy, and throwing around. Sadness. Sadness is absolutely necessary. We come into cycles where we attach and detach, and we have emotional investment in people, places, and things. And we may have to adjust how we think about that. And this is all the big thing about Tantra. This whole methodology of breathing, learning how to emotionally assess what's mine, what's not mine. What do I have to put in a box? Sadness is about putting it in a box and understanding this is with me, I'm going to cherish it, but right now I don't have to feel it. Okay? Because you own it. And all the rest of the stuff that's attached to it, I can let go. People who are morose hang on to it and spend so much energy dwelling on it, they're wasting energy and it could be used for something else. Worry. Worry is another thing. Did you know that the positive side is pensive? I like that word, pensive. What it means is that instead of worrying about it, you're using all that guesstimation of what could possibly happen, you say, I'm looking for X and X opportunity, and I am going to charge myself to act with certain emotion and activity to make it happen. You're setting a trigger. You've got this energy locked up and ready to go. I got it. Because it's a trigger. It's a trigger that you have control over, and you store that energy to release, to act, versus spinning a trigger. Fear. That's a big one. It's the biggest control mechanism there is. Respect. You wouldn't expect that. Respect is to say, yeah, I know that thing is dangerous. I know what it can do. I respect myself to stay very far away from it. I know this thing is going to make me upset. What do I have to do to change my behavior so I can change my reaction, so I infuse this person so that they stop their antics? It's all about conditioning who and what you are. This is a whole process about how to evolve yourself. And all you have to do is use this one diaphragmatic breath. Because if you spend time with these exercises, from just quieting yourself, sorting your brain, making choices, paying attention to your body, you are now, in the perfect sense, knowing how to center yourself. I always hear people say, ground and center, ground and center. It's center. I own me. I ground out what's not me. Or I give back whatever ritual I have that doesn't belong to me, so that it can work. So I can let go of it. You can't do a ritual, a bit of magic, if you're holding on to it. Okay? So that's the key point, and you got my 5 emotions, what's positive and negative. And when you're assessing yourself and the actions you want to choose and how you behave, you focus on that. Am I leaking energy? Or am I holding on to and doing something productively? And if you notice, a grief cycle goes through these emotions, okay, in a very constructive way. I'll bring up a chart so you can think about it another time. You can go to any Qigong thing about energy. You can look it up, and it has a constructive cycle if we want to look at it. But I don't want to distract you from it, and we'll get that I packed that chart there. So that's a useful thing. And every time you breathe, you're giving yourself a baseline and control of who you are. Now, it's about, now you're ready to do actual energy accumulation. Now, why do I go through all this to start learning how to accumulate energy? You want energy that's yours, that fits you. There's people, people get involved and you pick up energy from people and things around you all the time, and it's not necessarily healthy for you. You have to use this breath to get yourself on me before you're going to see what kind of energy is in the universe that's like mine. And I'm going to clue you in. You want to start out, if you haven't done this and you don't have a memory of nature, to bring it to you. That's an advanced type of work. Get out to nature so that you can feel what trees you have an affinity, what type of earth, what type of water, what type of air, sometimes metal. And the trick about that is, now you're going to want to sit in the same sort of posture. And there's one reason why I don't encourage crossing your legs, because I want the energy to flow up and down the legs. We're not shutting off the world by doing a full lotus position. That's why we get our legs down. And I want you to focus on who you are. But the breath is going to be similar, everything except we're going to use our chest now. Okay? And we want to compress everything. And then the trick is as we're breathing in, holding on to who we are, we're going to reach out and say, what is like me? Okay? And in this room is not going to be very much at the moment. Okay? You don't have to use your hands, but I did that. That was showmanship, sorry. So breathe in, and we're using our chest. Now we're using our actual fascia. And we're going, what's me? But we're going to reach out to the world. What's me? And as we hold, if what we find is like me, like yourselves, you caress it. You caress that and understand and respect where it comes from in nature. Because you want to feel what's around it as well. And as you breathe out, you're drawing the net in. And you hold it so that energy gets sticky in your body. Okay? You're compressing it. And do that again. Focus on who you are, and I'm going to try to pick up your energy and do something about it. Just focus on me and not me at the moment. Okay, now work on that in-breath. Reach out to energy that's like it. If it's your, it fits you, bring it in. Body and breath, hold on to that energy. And now ask yourself, is it mine or is it not mine? And you may have brought something else in there that you don't need. Now, you do that, you want to cement what is like you. And I do this little thing like, yes. Just this little twist of your hands, little twisting my body and holding on to it. And you should feel it. Filling in your arms, filling in your bones, and pooch out your belly for anything extra. Focus anything extra here. Because you're going to start storing it right here. Some people call it the womb. I call it the Tan Tien. There's this whole big giant organ that's connecting your innards together that has so much fascia. It connects everything. It'll hold on to it. Okay? When it's not you, let go. Now, who felt that energy coming in? Okay. Now, anybody got questions? How did I do that? Did I use my energy to do that? No. This is a tool. I am not spending my energy. I spent 40 some odd years collecting this. No vampire, no buddy, nothing is going to get it. I'm sure when I was younger, I spent a lot of this. Okay? I see a lot of people in magic spending this energy. They move energy through them. You got to hold on to yourself. Use this as a tool. What did you just do when you reached out and you embraced that energy? Now, what I did is I put up planes that had memories of energy, has energy signatures similar to yours. I had to read your energy, how you're feeding energy. I had to call up a plane that connects to nature somewhere. And I'm breathing that energy in, not into me, but into your space. I can't do that here. That would mess me up terribly bad. Okay? Now this is the point where I'm going to teach you how to make it magic. And you learn the first part. The trick is when you're going out in nature and you're practicing, what is me? Ooh, there's that tree, parts of that tree is there, that rock. That grass is not good for me. High grass. I just sensed it. Is it me or not me? No, it's not me. Yeah, the leaves, this time of year is like me, but the rest of the time of year, that tree may be like buzz off. All right? I'll respect that, okay? Having a respect for nature in all its forms, you're actually being able to feel it. You're able to remember it. Every place you go, do this. Take a three-dimensional picture of it. Because next time you need to call up energy, I'm reaching out and I am painting the picture of it, and I am drawing and attaching myself, aspecting myself to this other place that I adore, that nature tends to go like, I love you. You feel good, and here, have this energy because it's really you. Okay? I know you've all been places that have this type of connection. If you can remember it, you can paint a three-dimensional picture that will draw it to you. And this is the first bit of aspecting. I do not astral project because that would be spending this. I did that in my early years, and there were a lot of nasty things that wanted a piece of that. They will not get a piece of it. I learned to create and mirror myself. I used to make fetches. People make fetches or thought forms or what have you. You've got to give a time limit and reabsorb that energy. Was it mine anymore? A lot of times, no. I did it with hundreds of these things back in my younger years. I could read just about everything. It was not healthy for me. I was bound to that world where I lived in. I could not do anything for myself. I could read people plenty well. But for me, I was growing nowhere. I was doing nothing. I had to let it all go. This is why I'm a big preacher about this isn't me. But all that energy's out there, part of me. And I'm responsible for it. So I brought it in, I dissected it in my own internal way. Dungeons and Dragons and all sorts of stuff in my own internal world. And I absorbed what is me and what the most interesting personalities of my aspects. So I said, I want that as part of who I am. Oh yeah, that's me. Okay? So that is a magical practice I had to go through. But it's so very important to be able to reach nature. And you're mapping that energy, what's you and that relationship here. So all this energy you're collecting is you with the memory of the world around you. That's magic. And that's point number one. But how do I map it to my body? How do I map it so that all I have to do is think it and feel it, and I can go out there and manipulate it? Because now this is just a memory. Dantian is called a second brain. This is where the Chinese said, this is your spiritual brain right here. Okay? But you still have a body to map to it. That's where it's going to get interesting. And this may be distracting, but the thing is, I want you to get an idea, and I'm not going to be able to speak to it exactly right at all times. That is the movements and the breathing of it. Now, I need to have it start from the beginning. let me get this so that it repeats. So yeah, there's a big long list here. So the trick is you start off with the same sitting. Don't worry about that. It's there for later. You can pay attention to it. The trick is you let your rock your pelvis underneath just a little bit to start with. And you need to pay attention to your 3 chambers of breathing. This is called a triple horror breath, the 3 burners breath, the dragon's breath. In India, it's called spinal breathing, nadi yoga, and it's also used in Kriya yoga. The whole idea is learning how to move this. And remember, I said your whole body is a pump. You're making your fascia work for it. And now we're going to take 1 pill of this energy we stored here. We're going to send it down to our base chakra. And we're not going to go up the chakras. No. Most people who start doing that, and they start talking about Kundalini this, Kundalini that, they're not ready for it. Because you're going to find all that junk, all that stuff that you've been working on in your head and in your body is mirrored in every single chakra. You can't shove energy up through it because it's just going to burn it out. When you send energy through your fascia and you cook your proteins, you create a block that has to be worked, massaged, hydrated, worked on. And you don't want to do this with your chakras. People who do that burn themselves out. They have blockage, they have issues. I try to tell people, don't do this. There's people who like energy sensation play. That's great. It's yummy. It's wonderful. I can attest to it. But you try to push energy in and out of a chakra and force it, you're hurting somebody. You're burning it out. So I'm like, don't do that. I've seen a witch say, I'm teaching how to do energy stuff. And they're like pushing energy in it. And says, you're not doing this in my house. This is wrong. And you're a vampire. You will not do that. You're free to leave. Because they're not qualified, didn't know it, and they're doing it with somebody who's completely new. You can feel I have a pet peeve?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to detach from it. Because I don't want that in you. Throw it. Because I lived that. The other aspect why you go to nature, because you want energy in its most raw form. It's like, why do you want to eat fresh vegetables and make sure I'm not going way over time or anything. Eat fresh vegetables, raw foods, whatever. You want stuff that's good for you. You take processed food with salt and nasties and chemicals in it. Well, you can find this in malls and bars and whatever because they congeal, they kind of human detritus. People say, not me, all the time. All the nonsense that comes in, it flows. And there's a whole thing about preventing this from getting into your home, preventing yourself from being inundated by it. Every spring, every fall, the trees churn it up because the trees are a natural refiner of it. So I don't have to clean it up. My job is not to leak it. Own myself, have proper positive emotions, and I'm not creating that. But I also don't want to breathe that in. So it's really important. And you really have to go through all these preliminary exercises before you start doing Qigong, triple burner breath, because now you're going to take this energy, your own energy, and move it through you. If you got everybody else's energy before you clean, it makes a mess of it. It's going to make you sick. It's why you practice this until you get a hold of who you are. Make sense? Because I do not want sand in my crankcase. I want that engine, you know, I change that oil and keep it, I want to go 200,000 miles. I don't want to burn the car out like some people do and never change their oil. 30, 60,000 miles. Why is my car dead? And you ever change the oil? What's that? So we learn how to change our oil. We're good. You get fresh, keep the oil fresh and clean. Now, how do we get it circulating through the engine? So, can you make that replay? Because right now it's just doing play again. So, I wanted to get that across before we start here. So, we're going to start out. Can everybody see my belly? Make sure you can see it move properly. Okay? All right. The reason being is because we're going to start out with your upper abdomen. Okay? And we want to turn our pelvis under just the same way. But we want to give it some slack a little bit. Okay? So we're going to tuck this in, have our chest in, just going to stick this out right here. Because we're going to focus our energy right here. This is when we accumulate energy. We want it right here. Because it's going to be right where we need it. Okay? So the first thing you do is you tuck under your pelvis, and you make sure you do that. And you clench your perineum, whether it's pickles or prostate or wherever you got it. You want to clench it. Because you don't want energy leaving. Because now you're putting a block. It's called a Muabanda block. So you kind of turn that in, clench that. And then you want to take a pill. This is another reason why you focus on 1 cubic inch at a time. Because you're not going to be able to take all this energy. You just want a piece of it. And you want to focus on it, and you just change places like this. And you should feel pressure. You're pushing a pill of energy to the bottom of your pelvic floor. Okay? And now we're going to do, this should be tight, this should be tight, that should be out. And what we want to do is start moving it up our back. And we turn our pelvis in a little bit more. We start breathing, not here, but our middle abdomen. And we should feel a stretch up in our back. Feel it stretch, stretch, stretch. And then we like it open up through our chest, bit by bit. And you want to feel that energy comes up. When it comes up your neck, you want to close your neck off a little bit. And you focus with your eyes. You move that all the way up. Keep breathing in so you feel the top of your head. Sometimes we'll go through here. That's fine. That's homogenizing the energy in your brain as well. It's necessary. Sometimes we'll go through here. Sometimes we'll go over the top. Sometimes you've got control over it, and you decide how that works. So this is tight. This is all the way full. And you start breathing out and using your eyes. Keep your your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You want it connected to the soft palate. So, as you're breathing out, you want to focus and start breathing here. Because you're actually pulling when you're doing that. You're using your chest to pull. It comes down through your palate or around your lips, and sometimes through your trigeminal bones. And it will still come up and meet here. And you keep breathing out. And you want to then focus when all the air is out, stick out your lower abdomen, that lower pooch, the pelvic floor. And then you want to change places with it. that does is it takes that pill and reintegrates it here. Now you want to spin it. Use your feelings in your mind, and eventually you'll feel it. Use your eyes. You can roll it. Clockwise, 3 to 9 times this way. Clockwise on your axis. 3 times along the yaw axis. Then you do it the opposite way, counterclockwise. What this does, it integrates this yin energy, compresses it. You want to compress it too. Use your muscles. Compress it. You want to breathe it. Compress it. Imagine you're spinning it. Okay. And what that does, yin energy will last longer. I can do an energy exercise where I can do yang energy and you can feel it. This is just your electromechanical motor activity affecting the high end of, I call electro-weak forces, okay? And you can feel it. It feels electrical. Doing yin energy, I have to actually pull this essence energy up, and I will put it in a ball. And I have to twist it. And I have to use the yang energy to constantly twist it. And I can set it out there, and you will feel it for about 5 to 20 seconds. If you have a natural affinity, you probably will suck it right up. This light, ultraviolet, terrible. Ultraviolet and light gets rid of it very quickly. So that's why we store it right here. We store it right here where it's nice, dark, comfy, and we twist it wherever. And it will last as long as you maintain it. The reason why you go up the center of your back is you're actually connecting to each of the external chakra points. And you imagine it spinning as well. Because the idea is you're pulling energy from your chakras each step of the way. And down through the external parts of your chakras in the front. Now, energy will fill it back up. But your chakras map your body from each of the chakra points. There's 7 different maps. There's 7 different maps. And you just took a bit of energy that maps your whole body, that pill of energy, and you're storing it, you're homogenizing it, where it already has a map of the world outside. So now, your body knows this energy is good for here. That energy is good for here. That energy is good for, you name it. Because you end up feeling it. You end up memorizing it. Also, occasionally you pull out some dark obstructed thread that's mirrored in a part of your body that you previously worked on. So you only have half the problems to deal with in dealing with it, half the triggers, and that box will rattle in your head, and you say, I got to focus on it. Well, you get that, you stop that energy practice, you go back to me, not me breath, and you focus on it, and you work on it until you manage it. It's like sharpening a knife. You constantly sharpen it. You one edge and after another. And you refine it with a finer and finer stone to make it sharp. It's the same thing we're doing here. We start ourselves, how we feel, how we think, we order it. So now we know what our blade is, our blade looks like. We refine it, we sharpen it, we feel what's going on, we get rid of all the burnishes and the ugly parts of it. And then we start on the finishing part of it. And what happens is not only are you improving who you are, you're improving a relationship with the universe, and you've mapped your body to this energy here that you can use, I call it a spirit vehicle. And if you have control over it, there's a lot of people who have a lot of emotional things. And I find people working in covens or what have you, that haven't had a lot of traditional training that helps manage it in their methodology and some of the initiations, they have drama, they have things going on. There's witch wars that people have because they feel like people are throwing stuff at them. All right, let's put it this way. As a normal human, you let go of astral fluff and it's like skin. You become psychic and you deal with all this stuff. It's not fluff, it's stuff. And you had a relationship with people, and it's a big giant connection. And that stuff, and if a person says, okay, this is just noise, I'm going to be a grown-up here, I'm going to let it go. All right, did they ground it out? 9 times out of 10. So, bing, someone's attacking me. Bing, oh, stop. It's because people have connections. This stuff is mapped to each other. That's attachments. The stuff has energy, and the more you are connected, the more you are, the bigger this stuff gets. And the more responsibility you have to make it go away, to absorb it, to manage it, and not be a problem, not litter. Okay? So that's the big thing here. So if you notice, and I'll go talk through this again. The whole idea is to use your body as a puppet. You learn that, you can go to a Tai Chi class and learn how to breathe. You'll already know how to breathe. What I'm doing is I'm memorizing the type of energy in my hands. And managing. You follow this, you map your body, you map the universe, and all you have to do is focus, and you can create a thought form anywhere you want. If you aspect yourself, you create a thought form like yourself, you want to go to an overworld. You start spinning the energy, drawing down the moon or the sun or just the heavens. And next thing you know, you're going to have an energy change aspect. When you breathe and you memorize that. But it's stored here. You're not changing your energy here. This is safe. That's why you ground out after a ritual when you're doing deities or anything else, because that's not good for you. But you aspect that, and that can constantly talk. And you got a relationship with yourself, but with a whole different energy form. Same thing with infernals, same thing with any other plane. Make sense? Sounds good? Also in there I have, and I wasn't expecting to get to it, I called it an energy balancing exercise. I created this about 10 or 12 years ago, and I just came across a book from a Qigong master who finally got this thing published like 2 years ago, and has this one minor change in it. So in it, I start out with my liver, and I end up breathing from in and onto my heart. I would, and do it, breathe out to my heart. Breathe into my spleen, breathe into my lungs, and breathe into my kidneys. Now it's odd, now you're breathing into your liver, out to your heart, into my spleen, into my lungs, and into my kidneys. I find this helpful for people who get stuck in an emotional rut. I teach it to people who constantly have one emotion or the other overriding their personality. This is the whole idea, is to do this, and it helps move the energy from one flavor to another. If you have a chance to study Qigong, you'll have you realize that every bit of nature has a different affinity to a different part of your organs. I don't have time to go into that. It's out there. The books are simple. You go to www.peopleembracingchange.com. I should have a link to www.librarything.com. It's either profiles or just art and stuff. And it'll bring up my book list. And you look up a tag, Qigong, and you'll find Montauk Chia, Dr. Evans Wentz, and Dr. Yang from Yang's Martial Arts Academy, YMAA.com. And in it, they teach Yang-style Tai Chi. It teaches this book called The Chinese Roots of Qigong. Soup to nuts, one of the best books I've ever seen. It'll go through this process, okay? And then he does embryonic breathing, which is a more esoteric form of how to build a spirit body so you can take most of you with you into wherever you're going to go for an afterlife. I'm very much keen on that. I didn't get a full breadth of it from Dr. Evans Wentz Tibetan yoga. They talk about Fo Wa. It's one of the techniques about how to transmigrate yourself. You could move into a bird. You can move into a semi-dead body. Or you could have a complete set of focus of what you want to be in your next lifetime, where you need to be. You may not be able to totally script it. So hopefully, in a year's time, if you do the basics, you'll start ordering and evolving yourself. And it's one big thing about being a witch. You are empowering yourself. You're now able to choose how you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to act, how you want to react. And then you start mapping out the energy. And a lot of people just, and the reason why I teach it this way is like different traditions teach you how to, this is water, imagine water, okay? This is fire, this is the gods, this is whatever. We learn to speak before we know our ABC. So a lot of people have natural talent. We learn how to speak many languages, but when we learn to read and write, we have to get down to the letters, how to draw them, and how to connect them in grammar. Hopefully, this is what I'm trying to teach so that it builds up. And by the time you get into Qigong, you're mapping your body to the natural world around you. Now you're into physics. That's the part I like. Because if you notice how I grabbed without touching, and I just built shields that connected to it, and I talked to that energy, and I breathe the same way. To breathe through those shields, to bring energy to them. So I can help people miles away. All I have to do is remember your signature, their signature, and I didn't look at your signatures because it's not me. I looked at the energy that you're already pulling towards you. That's all. I do not invade people unless I get strict permission. So I'm kind of a stickler about that. Any questions? Was it good? Helpful?
Awesome.
Are you going to remember it? Hopefully the printouts will be good. You can find, meditate, the 4 square breathing is in the basic yoga, okay? The judging of it, I've only read about it in a story from Dr. Li Ping, who's a Qigong master in China. He has a new book out where I got that little added bit about this energy balancing exercise. He starts from the bladder. He goes to the kidneys and does the whole cycle and back to the bladder. Now the bladder is easily accessible to the same channel that you can store right here in the Dantian. Hindus call it Hrit. It's not part of the regular chakras. It's chakra, chakra, chakra. Bing, Hrit. That's why it's kind of neat. So cool. So once you get your energy cleaned up, you might be able to find that you just go and feel it come right straight up. Boop. I had a little trouble I learned to breathe from here. And pushed it down and got an opening this way. And then I was cleared up. But it was after I did this Qigong and actually worked it, because I have had a horrendous life. I've had horrendous stress. I've had a horrendous just about everything. This is what kept me sane, relatively healthy, and hopefully my devilish good looks for my age. Hasn't worked, you know. But the thing is, I've seen a lot of experienced people in the craft. If they haven't been taught some methodology in their tradition, or have some other way of managing that energy, the constant moving of the energy that they do, and there's traditions like hoodoo and voodoo type of traditions where they're working with people, they're taking energy from their client, they're using that energy to do the working for them. So that's a fair energy exchange to do something, but they're still using their energy and they're bringing energy from their client into them. And just like any other witch, they are using and abrading their own core energy. So if I wanted to use magic, all I have to do is like reach out to that place and remember it. And I use a little Tai Chi movement called rack and silk. And I bring it in, and I use my external channels. I can even move it across my chest. And hold it. Doesn't matter. I can work with it. Okay, different types of energy. What's be, not let it go. Did I use mine? No. I may have used my body, but I'm not letting it linger. I do the maintenance. I'm on. So, and if I just want to grab it, use that yang energy, and keep it outside my body. Work with it. Because I mapped it out. You do like, sigil work in the air by, you get a good real feel for it, not on a piece of paper. It's a mental construct. You're actually drawing energy lines. Married to the sun and the moon here. Let's take an arc of happiness, and next thing you know, it's like, okay, make use of, turn it back. Oh, it's got information about what's me, not me. Let it go. Same deal. So hopefully this is useful. It'll improve your magical practices. Any other questions? Any questions?
I got one thing. Without knowing any of these great techniques, like what you're describing, and just through meditation and everything, I developed the way I was trained as a massage therapist.
Yeah.
And part of what's always been real clear to me is that I feel energies and I can move energy.
Mm-hmm.
I've always known that. But when I am working on a client, when I'm doing a massage, the energy that I funnel to them feels like it comes through. It's not a part of me, but it uses me as the conduit.
Yeah.
And all I do is simply make them attention and get what they need.
Yeah.
Is that sort of on the same keel as what you're talking about? Owning your own energy, this is mine, not mine.
If you can hold on to who you are, being a conduit, you're feeling the client's energy and getting a feel of it, and you know that you got to adjust the energy there, and you're reaching out like a normal person would. You're drawing in energy. So a lot of times people draw it in from behind, and you end up being the conduit. But it will still kind of, as it goes through you, it's mapping your body, your mind, your energy. So the thing is, it's how much training goes into owning your energy and making sure that conduit goes through and not affect your core energy. I can't tell you how much, what you've done or how it's done until I see it being done. But I can tell you most massage therapists I know, they end up using some of their core energy by doing that method, because you're just immediately connecting to it, and it's not taught in massage school. So it's,
no, they don't teach you. So the 4-part breathing, the 4-square breathing, and the Qigong practices could strengthen my ability to channel the energy without affecting my own,
absolutely.
without weakening my own self.
And it helps develop your focus on your own energy, so every time you breathe, you are holding your own energy. You're welcome. Anything? Make sense?
It does.
Oh, man.
Cool.